Going to be making a quiche Lorraine today. Now, a quiche Lorraine is very easy to make. What it's got is a short crust pastry with some bacon and onions, cheese, and then you've got this sort of eggy creamy mixture that goes over the top. Put it in the oven, half an hour or so later, you've got this really delicious quiche Lorraine. Now, the good thing about a quiche is you can serve it up cold at your parties, or if you want a little lunch with a bit of salad, beautiful, or when it comes out of the oven, it's warm, it's wonderful. So give it a go, very simple, and you know, you'll love it. So to make this quiche, I just want to quickly go through the ingredients we're going to use. Now, I've got my pastry, short crust pastry. Now, just to speed it all up a little bit, I'm going to use a ready to roll out pastry. So taking it out of the fridge about 45 minutes before you want to use it, dust off your surface, a bit of flour, get a rolling pin and just roll it out slightly bigger than your dish. Now, obviously, if you want to make your own, you've got the time, go ahead, because obviously that will be delicious too. But I've chosen to use ready-made short crust pastry. Now, for the filling, I'm going to use bacon lardons, 250 grams. Alternatively, you could use a nice bacon. Then I've got one onion, which we're going to chop that down fairly fine. A little bit of cheese. Now, I've put a selection there. You want to use a strong cheese, about 50 grams. You could use maybe a mature cheddar, or I'm going to use this one, Gruyere. Now, then we're going to make this sort of creamy, eggy mixture, and that's done with 3 eggs, 200 millilitres of double cream, 200 millilitres of creme fraiche, a little bit of nutmeg, salt and pepper. So that's going to be the sort of eggy mixture that's going to go on top of it all, and oh, that's delicious. Then finally, just a little bit of oil for frying up the bacon lardons and the onions. So the first thing I want to do is get me dish, the quiche dish I'm going to use, and then we're going to roll out this short crust pastry, just big enough that it goes over the top of the dish. So I've got my dish there that we're going to use for making this quiche. Now, just to give you an idea of size, this is about 24 centimetres across by about 4 centimetres high. So that'll give you some idea of the size. Now, what we're going to do is to butter the inside of the dish. So let's just, got a little bit of butter there. Just sort of lightly butter it all the way around. The next one, I'm just going to move that out of the way because we're going to sprinkle some flour on the surface here so we can roll out the short crust pastry. So I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of plain flour really. So we don't really want it to stick. Also, just going to put a little bit in my hands so I can rub the rolling pin. That's it. Now I've got the pastry there, so just literally slip it out of the packet there, and I think we can start rolling that. I'll just turn it over. Because what you don't want to do is make it stick to the table. Now, again, let's just roll this out. Now, we're trying to roll it out, so you've got a little bit of thickness, but you don't want it too thick. Just big enough to go over the dish, really. So I've just rolled that out, and you know, it's not too thick. You don't need it too thick. Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got my dish there. Now, if I'm careful, I should be able to just do it like that. Now, what you need to do is to gently just push it in to those like flutes that are around the side. Just push it into the edges. That's it. Now, also, I've got this paper here. Now I'm going to lay that. This is like a heat-proof paper, like a baking paper. Now we're just going to lay that there. Now I'm also going to put in, I've got some pearl barley. This is just to kind of keep it pressed down, really. I'm using pearl barley because it's quite cheap, but you could use, you know, beans if you've got dry beans, bit of rice, whatever you want. That's it. So now we've got the pearl barley in there just to kind of press it down a little bit. Now I am just going to trim up the edges before I put it in the oven, so we can just go round. Now keep these little scraps because when it's in the oven, if you get any cracks, you can just sort of patch it up. Nobody will know. now we trim the edges, it's ready to go in the oven. Now I'm going to switch my oven on, get it preheated, temperature wise 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is gas mark 4. So the oven's just come up to temperature. Now I'm just going to put the pastry in the oven. Now what we're going to do is leave that for 10 minutes with the baking paper and the pearl barley. After 10 minutes we're going to remove the paper and the pearl barley and leave it for another 10 minutes. So initially the pastry base is going to get 20 minutes in the oven. Now temperature wise 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. So set your timer for 10 minutes and then another 10 minutes after. So now we've got the pastry cooking away in the oven. What I'm going to do is go over to the hob, get myself a frying pan, and we're going to fry up the onion and the bacon lardons. Now, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in there, just to get it started really. Switch the heat on. Now I'm going to put mine, I'd say medium to high really, somewhere between medium and high. So the pan's just warmed up, and I'm going to go straight in. Give those a quick move around. Now I'm going to then add the onion. And again, just try and mix it all up. And I would say you won't even want to cook for about 3, maybe 4 minutes. So I finished cooking mine. They've had about 3, nearly 4 minutes on a fairly high heat. Smelling beautiful. Now what I'm going to do with those is tip them into a bowl, but I'm going to put a bit of paper tissue at the bottom of the bowl to try and soak up any oil. So it's a nice dry mixture when it goes into the quiche. So I've got the bacon lardons and the onion draining away on that paper tissue. So I'm going to put that on the table and just leave that. Now in a few minutes, obviously we're going to be at the first 10 minutes of cooking that pastry. So we're going to need to remove the baking paper and the pearl barley and then just put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes. So let's go and check on the pastry. Let's just pull this out. Now what I might try and do is if I can just put a bowl there. I'm careful. There we go. Now again, now we've taken the paper off and the pearl barley, just slot it in and give it another 10 minutes. So set your timer, same temperature. So again, while we've got 10 minutes more for the pastry to cook, I'm going to get myself a bowl and we're going to start making up this eggy, creamy mixture. Now just crack your eggs. Try not to get any shell in there. That's that. Now we can add a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to use ground black pepper. Now I've also got some nutmeg. Now I tend to use whole nutmeg and then grate it, so this one's already been used, but just put a pinch of that in. Good pinch. Just going to kind of mix this up, whisk it up a little bit. Alright, then I'm going to go in with the creme fraiche, 200 millilitres, which happens to be one of these little tubs, so let's get that all in there. Then I've got double cream. Now, this tub's slightly bigger, this is 300 ml, so I'll leave some behind. That'll do. And again, you just want to mix this up, get it all mixed up, and then that is ready to go. That's done. So let's move that aside. Now I might as well grate me cheese as well, so let's get the cheese grated. So now we've got the cheese and that eggy mixture all ready to go. Let's go and check on the pastry, because that's probably just about done, so we can pull that out. So I've had the pastry cooking in there for a total of 20 minutes, so let's just carefully try and pull that out. Look at that, it's got a nice light golden brown colour. So let's put that on the table and then we can start adding all the fillings. Now, we're going to start off with the bacon and onion mixture. That's got to be a good start. You see, we've left all the oil behind. So, just kind of spread that out really. Then we're going to go in with the cheese. Now just here, I might just put a little repair just to build that up a little bit. So as I say, you can always patch it up with a little bit of the pastry. That's it. Nobody will know. And you can do that if you've got any little cracks. Now, then we're going to get this mixture. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Now, again, get a little bit of Parmesan cheese and I'm just going to give it a light sprinkle over the top. Now again, we don't need a lot. Just give it a little sprinkle over the top. And that'll make it extra delicious. So I've got the quiche ready to go back in the oven. Now, what I would say is before you go and pick it up and sort of place it in the oven, use some sort of protective cloth, because obviously this is still really hot, this base. So I'm going to use this cloth underneath and put it in the oven. All right, so let's get this quiche in the oven. So do be careful because it's still very runny, the mixture, and it's very hot, the actual base, so be careful. There you go. So set your timer for about 30 minutes, have a look at it, and if it needs an extra 5 minutes, give it 35 minutes, just to make sure that the eggy mixture is just nicely set. Now I've been cooking for 30 minutes, so let's just open this up, have a look at it, and see how it is. Just slightly wobble it. I think that's done. I'm going to pull mine out very carefully and put it on the table. Then I'm going to let it stand for sort of 5 or 10 minutes and then we're going to eat some. Now I actually left mine over 20 minutes because, to be honest, my battery was going flat and I had to give it a quick recharge so I can do the ending, because this is the bit I enjoy. Now I'm just going to bring a plate there and start from the middle. It's nice and soft in there, but cooked. Cutting through the pastry really. Again, just see how it is around the back there. Let's just go over that one more time to make sure it comes out in one piece, because it's still warm in there. Now, let's just try and get it there. Look at that, it's coming out nice. Just show you that. Whoa. That's going to be beautiful with that sort of onion and bacon. Wait, bit of pastry there. Now let's just try that. So let's just move this out of the way a minute. Just bring that in view. Let's just open it up so you can see what's in there. You see I've got a nice egg, only just set, but you know, nicely. This is going to be kind of melt in your mouth. I'm just going to go for that big bit there. Oh, look. Oh yeah. That is delicious. Definitely melt in your mouth. Really nice and soft, the egg, but oh, so many delicious flavours with that bacon, lardons and onion, a little bit of nutmeg. It's also a little bit creamy as well. Really lovely. You'll really enjoy this. Give it a go. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope you enjoy. And I'll see you on the next one. All the best, the original Naked Chef.